There is a game almost everyone is playing, yet almost no one remembers agreeing to its rules. It disguises itself as responsibility, speaks with the voice of ambition, and rewards those who never stop running. Wake up earlier, earn a little more, reach the next milestone. Delay rest until life finally feels secure. The promise always sounds reasonable. Just one more achievement, one more promotion, one more year. Yet every finish line dissolves the moment you reach it, retreating like the horizon before a traveler who mistakes distance for destiny. Nearly 5 centuries ago, Michel de Montaigne recognized this illusion long before the modern world gave it names like the rat race or burnout. Surrounded by wealthy nobles, celebrated officials, and respected scholars, he noticed a quiet tragedy hidden beneath their success. Many had mastered the art of managing appearances while losing ownership of their own lives. Their calendars were full, their reputations unquestioned, yet something essential had slipped away without anyone noticing. At 38, Montaigne walked away from a prestigious public career and withdrew to his library. There, he began chasing a far more unsettling question. What remains of a person when no one expects anything from them? That question has never stopped echoing because it belongs to every generation. Perhaps you've spent years climbing a ladder you never chose. Perhaps your days are packed with obligations while your inner life grows strangely silent. Perhaps the greatest price of constant achievement isn't exhaustion, but the slow disappearance of the person you were before productivity became your identity. In this video, we'll explore 8 timeless lessons inspired by Montaigne that reveal why this game can never truly be won, and why stepping outside its rules may be the only real victory. Montaigne once wrote, "We must reserve a back shop all our own, entirely free, where we establish our true liberty and our principal retreat." Among everything he left behind, few ideas feel more urgent today. He wasn't speaking about a room of stone, even though he had one. He was describing an inner territory that cannot be bought, inherited, or taken away. A place where your worth is no longer measured by your profession, your achievements, your income, or the opinions constantly surrounding you. A place where you exist before the world tells you who you should become. Most people never notice when that place begins to disappear. It rarely vanishes overnight. It erodes quietly. One free morning is replaced by another obligation. Silence gives way to endless notifications. A peaceful dinner becomes another opportunity to check emails or replay conversations that ended hours ago. Gradually, the mind stops feeling like a home and starts resembling a crowded marketplace where every voice is welcome except your own. There is a profound difference between being busy and being internally occupied. Work eventually ends. Internal occupation rarely does. Even in moments of rest, countless invisible audiences continue judging your performance. You keep explaining yourself to people who are no longer in the room. You rehearse conversations that may never happen. You carry expectations that were never truly yours. Montaigne understood that this is one of the most sophisticated forms of slavery. A person who cannot retreat into themselves becomes available to everything except their own soul. Every demand gains authority. Every urgency feels personal. Every opinion finds a place to settle. Perhaps the most revealing question isn't how much time you give to others. It's this: when was the last time you were alone with yourself, without feeling the need to escape? The answer reveals more about the quality of a life than any resume ever could. Because before you can reclaim your freedom from the world, you must first reclaim the one place where freedom has always begun, the quiet sanctuary within yourself. There comes a quiet moment when we stop owning our possessions, and they begin owning us. The shift is almost invisible. Money that was meant to expand our freedom slowly dictates our choices. A house built to provide shelter, becomes another source of anxiety. Every new possession demands protection, maintenance, insurance, attention. What once felt like success gradually becomes another responsibility that refuses to leave your mind. Montaigne knew this feeling intimately. After inheriting his father's considerable estate, he discovered something few wealthy people admit aloud. Financial abundance did not silence fear. It simply gave fear a different vocabulary. The fear of not having became the fear of losing. Reflecting on this, he wrote, "The measure of wealth is not the abundance of possessions, but the moderation of desires." That sentence isn't an argument against prosperity. It's a warning about the nature of desire itself. Desire rarely recognizes enough. It adapts. Every new achievement quickly becomes the new normal, and satisfaction quietly moves one step farther away. What once seemed extraordinary soon feels ordinary, leaving the mind searching for another target. Modern psychology calls this the hedonic treadmill, our remarkable ability to return to the same emotional baseline no matter how much we acquire. We don't simply want more because we're greedy. We want more because our minds become astonishingly efficient at making yesterday's dream feel like today's minimum. Perhaps this is why so many people become prisoners of the very lives they spent decades trying to build. They work tirelessly to create security, only to discover they must work even harder to preserve it. The numbers in their bank account rise, yet their sense of peace remains stubbornly unchanged. The deepest poverty isn't always the absence of money. Sometimes it's the inability to experience, even for a single moment, the quiet feeling that what you already have is enough. Some forms of suffering have very little to do with reality. They are born from the meaning we assign to it. Two people can experience the same rejection, the same criticism, the same failure, yet walk away carrying entirely different lives. One eventually lets it pass. The other turns a single moment into a permanent definition of who they are. The event is identical. The story built around it is not. Montaigne discovered this through something surprisingly ordinary: a cat. In one of the most famous passages of the essays, he writes, "When I play with my cat, who knows whether she is not amusing herself with me more than I with her?" It seems like a playful observation, yet it quietly dismantles one of humanity's oldest illusions. We assume we are always the central character. Montaigne wondered if we were ever the center at all. Much of our anxiety comes from believing everyone is watching us. We replay conversations, dissect facial expressions, anticipate judgment, and spend enormous amounts of emotional energy trying to manage impressions that most people will forget within hours. In truth, the world is far less occupied with us than our ego would like to believe. Montaigne reminds us of another uncomfortable truth. Even on the highest throne in the world, we are still sitting only on our own backside. Titles cannot erase our fragility. Success cannot negotiate with time. Recognition does not exempt anyone from the ordinary conditions of being human. There is something deeply liberating about accepting this. The less desperately we seek confirmation of our importance, the lighter life becomes. We stop treating every setback as a personal verdict and begin seeing ourselves as participants in a world infinitely larger than our own concerns. Freedom begins the moment the ego no longer demands to stand at the center of every story. Few sentences demand more maturity than these three words: "I don't know." Ironically, they are among the hardest to say. From childhood, we're taught that certainty looks like intelligence, quick answers inspire confidence, and changing our minds resembles weakness. Over time, we become collectors of conclusions instead of seekers of understanding. We defend opinions less because they are true than because they have become part of our identity. Montaigne refused to live that way. On a personal medal, he engraved the question that would come to define his philosophy: "Que sais-je?" What do I know? It wasn't an expression of hopeless skepticism. It was an exercise in intellectual humility. Before trying to explain the world, he reminded himself how little any human mind could truly grasp. In the essays, he admitted, "If my mind could gain a firm footing, I would not make essays. I would make decisions, but it is always learning and testing." That may be the greatest difference between a living mind and a stagnant one. A living mind remains unfinished. It welcomes contradiction because it understands that every mistaken belief abandoned creates room for a clearer one to emerge. Many of the world's deepest conflicts are fueled by certainty, not ignorance. People cling to ideas as though letting go would erase who they are. Yet ideas are not our bones. They can break without destroying us. In fact, some of the most important transformations in life begin with the collapse of a belief we once considered unquestionable. Perhaps wisdom has never been about possessing the right answers. Perhaps it begins the moment we become comfortable carrying better questions, because only an empty cup can receive fresh water. A mind convinced it already overflows leaves no space for truth to enter. Here's a question we almost never ask ourselves. When was the last time you did something simply because it was worth doing, not because it would take you somewhere else? For many people, every action has become an investment. We read to become more productive. We exercise to optimize performance. We rest so we can work harder tomorrow. Even our hobbies are quietly expected to generate income, status, or influence. Little by little, life stops being experienced and starts being managed like a portfolio of future returns. Montaigne saw life differently. During his long journey across Europe, he often abandoned carefully planned routes after hearing about a forgotten village, a healing spring, or an unusual local custom. His companions viewed these detours as delays. He saw them as the journey itself. In his travel journal, he wrote, "I have no other goal than to live the movement of the journey itself." That sentence feels almost revolutionary today. We live in a culture obsessed with outcomes, where every moment is judged by what it produces next. Yet the richest experiences often leave behind nothing measurable. They don't improve a resume. They don't attract applause. They simply remind us that being alive is not the same as constantly making progress. Perhaps this is why so many people arrive at the life they dreamed of, only to discover they never truly lived on the way there. The destination was never empty. Their attention was. Life has never waited at the finish line. It has always unfolded beneath your feet, one ordinary step at a time. The tragedy isn't reaching the wrong destination. It's spending your entire journey preparing for a future, while overlooking the only moment you were ever certain to possess, the one you're living right now. One of the strangest contradictions of human life is that we spend years trying to build a better future while barely noticing the life already unfolding around us. Our bodies move through the present, but our minds rarely stay there. They drift backward into conversations that cannot be changed, or race forward into futures that have never promised to arrive. Somewhere between regret and anticipation, the present quietly disappears. Montaigne understood this better than most. He once wrote, "When I dance, I dance. When I sleep, I sleep." At first glance, the sentence feels almost too simple. Yet behind those few words lies a discipline that has become increasingly rare. Giving your full attention to the moment you are actually living, instead of mentally escaping into another one. This insight became even more profound after Montaigne endured years of agonizing kidney stones. Chronic pain forced him into an intimate relationship with his own mortality and with the limits of human control. Instead of allowing suffering to consume his entire identity, he wrote one of the most remarkable lines in the essays: "My trade and my art is living." That wasn't poetic optimism. It was a decision. He refused to postpone life until circumstances became easier. Most of us unknowingly do the opposite. We tell ourselves that we'll finally be present after the next promotion, the next relationship, the next vacation, the next version of ourselves. But life has never existed in those imagined tomorrows. It exists only here, where your breath is, where your attention is, where this ordinary moment quietly asks to be noticed. The world doesn't need to slow down for you to experience life more deeply. Your attention simply needs to come home. Some people return parts of you that you never realized were missing. Not every relationship changes your life. Most simply pass through it. But every once in a while, someone enters your world and quietly alters the way you experience yourself. You think you've met another person. In reality, you've discovered another way of being human. Montaigne experienced this with Etienne de la Boétie. Their friendship wasn't built on convenience, shared ambition, or political advantage. It emerged from something far more difficult to explain. After La Boétie's untimely death, Montaigne confessed that no other relationship could occupy the place his friend had left behind. In the essays he wrote, "In true friendship, souls mingle and blend with each other in so complete a union that they erase the seam that joined them." What an extraordinary image! A seam exists to hold two separate pieces together. Once it disappears, it no longer makes sense to ask where one ends and the other begins. That is the kind of connection Montaigne believed was possible. Not a loss of individuality, but a meeting so genuine that masks become unnecessary. Today, we have never been more connected, yet genuine intimacy often feels increasingly rare. We know what hundreds of people post online, while remaining strangers to the quiet struggles of those sitting beside us. Conversations fill our days, but very few reach the places where our fears, hopes, and doubts actually live. Montaigne understood that no achievement can replace the presence of someone who sees you without asking you to perform. Some truths about ourselves only emerge when we no longer feel the need to impress. Perhaps real wealth has never been measured by the number of people who know your name. Perhaps it is measured by the few who truly know your soul. The day Montaigne realized that dying was never the greatest danger. There are questions we postpone because we quietly assume there will always be more time to answer them. More time to forgive. More time to begin. More time to become the person we keep promising ourselves we'll be. Yet time has never made such a promise. It moves with complete indifference, carrying every life forward without revealing how much of the journey remains. Montaigne confronted this truth after a violent riding accident. Thrown from his horse and left unconscious, his family believed he had died. When he eventually recovered, something unexpected stayed with him. The approach of death had not felt as terrifying as he had imagined for so many years. The real shock came afterward. If death itself could be so natural, why had the fear of it stolen so much of his life? In the essays he wrote, "We do not know where death awaits us. Therefore, let us wait for it everywhere." This wasn't an invitation to pessimism. It was a call to stop treating life as something that begins later. How many people postpone joy until the next promotion? Delay love until life feels more stable? Keep their dreams safely folded away like clothes reserved for a perfect occasion that never arrives? Montaigne understood that tomorrow has never signed a contract with anyone. Near the end of his life, he expressed one final wish that captured everything he had learned. "I want death to find me planting my cabbages." No grand speech, no heroic ending, just a man fully present in the ordinary work of an ordinary day. Perhaps that is the highest form of freedom. Not defeating time because no one ever has, but refusing to let the hope of an imagined tomorrow steal the only day that has ever truly belonged to you. Today. Perhaps Montaigne's greatest legacy was never a collection of answers. It was a different way of seeing. While so many people devoted their lives to conquering the world, he turned inward and began exploring the only territory no one else could fully understand: himself. In doing so, he uncovered a truth that remains as unsettling today as it was 5 centuries ago. We spend an extraordinary amount of time perfecting our lives while quietly forgetting to live them. The game you've been taught to play has no final victory. Every achievement creates another expectation. Every summit reveals another mountain. If your peace depends on reaching the next destination, then peace will always remain somewhere ahead of you. Montaigne never promised a life free from loss, uncertainty, illness, or death. He knew that fortunes change, bodies grow old, friendships end, and time never pauses for anyone. Yet he discovered a kind of freedom that no external success could offer. The freedom of no longer being at war with reality. When this video ends, your responsibilities will still be waiting. The world will continue moving at exactly the same speed. Nothing outside you will have changed, except one possibility. The possibility that, for the first time in a long while, you'll stop asking whether you're winning the game and begin asking whether it's a game worth playing at all. Because life was never asking you to outrun everyone else. It was asking something far more difficult. To be fully awake while you are here. To notice the people you love before they become memories. To appreciate ordinary mornings before they become nostalgia. To build a life that feels meaningful from the inside, even if the outside never applauds it. That is the lesson Montaigne leaves us. The greatest victory is not defeating time. It is refusing to let the pursuit of tomorrow steal the miracle of today. If this video gave you something to reflect on, imagine exploring over 100 exclusive videos available to our members. You can even start with a free 1-month trial and see if it's for you. If you'd like to support this work even further, you can also leave a super thanks. Every contribution helps us create more thoughtful, high-quality videos like this. And honestly, if becoming a member isn't possible, that's completely okay. Simply watching, subscribing, and sharing these videos already helps this channel more than you might realize. Thank you for being part of this journey.